First question is, please could you introduce yourself briefly and greet the viewers?
Great. So my name is Colin Everin, but my friends call me Proto Colin. And I'm the ecosystem lead at Protocol Labs, helping grow the IPFS and Filecoin projects.
Yes.
And I'm just super excited to talk to the Korean community. It's been a huge community of ours right from the get-go, back from IPFS, early 2015, through Space Race and through when we launched Filecoin. And so I'm just super excited to continue engaging with your community.
The next question is, how did you come up with the Filecoin and the IPFS, and how did you get into it?
How did I get into it? Yeah. So I come from a business background. I used to work at McKinsey and in investing at Bain Capital. I went to Stanford Business School. And I thought I could bring a different kind of skill set to the Web3 space to help accelerate adoption. This was back in 2017 when it was mostly developers and researchers. And a really good friend of mine named Ryan Zur, he was working at Polychain at the time. He introduced me to Juan, and I just absolutely fell in love with the mission to upgrade the internet, to make it faster, safer, more resilient to attack, and more open. And so Juan and I hit it off about 5.5 years ago.
Yes.
I came on board and I've just been on this incredible journey to grow the IPFS and Filecoin ecosystems ever since.
Last but not least, for all the projects that you're doing right now in the Filecoin, can you especially what's your main focus right now?
Yeah. So I'm doing a talk just in a minute on the Filecoin master plan, and that comes in three main phases.
Three main phases,
right?
Yes.
So step one is amass as much hardware as possible to the Filecoin network to build the largest decentralized storage network in the world, which we have largely done. And that's been a huge focus, working with storage providers in Korea and all over the world to bring hardware to the network itself and build a moat around Filecoin, right? Number two is onboard as much storage to the network as possible to safeguard humanity's data.
Yes.
And so we have a ton of initiatives around doing onboarding of data, business development, bringing really inspirational data sets and filling up the whole network with data, which also helps storage providers run their businesses. And then third, which I'm really, really excited about, is bringing compute to the Filecoin network. So upgrading the software to bring smart contracts, compute networks, hierarchical consensus, and scalability to the Filecoin network. These are major, major inflection points for Filecoin, where the growth of the applications and utility of the Filecoin network could just reach an inflection point. The first one of that is the FVM, the Filecoin virtual machine, which launches in Q1, which brings a huge multi-billion-dollar DeFi economy to Filecoin, all sorts of smart contracts and new use cases. And so we're super focused on upgrading this Filecoin software to bring more utility to the data in the network through smart contracts, compute, and finally scalability in the consensus algorithm.
So the first question, can you please introduce yourself a little bit?
Yes, my name is Michelle, and I am a technical recruiter at Protocol Labs, and I hire specifically for leadership positions across product engineering and research.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Then what's your role today in Filecoin Singapore today?
So my role today is to attract talent and tell them about Protocol Labs, the opportunities that we have, and we're also hosting a Women in Tech event tomorrow. So check that out.
Okay. Then the third question, can you tell us about the advantages of using the Filecoin or the strength?
Yeah, so advantages of using Filecoin. So Filecoin's built on IPFS, and IPFS is a peer-to-peer network protocol that ensures that data is safely stored. It can be stored long-term. It won't delete itself over time, and it's interplanetary. Filecoin specifically is, you can kind of think of it as the Airbnb for cloud storage. So it's not owned by a specific entity or a government. So it is very open and decentralized. Yes.
These days, Korea community is getting bigger and bigger since they're kind of really into this technology of Filecoin. So can you kind of say something to the Korean communities? Yeah.
We have quite a few Discord channels. All of our basically all of our Discord channels are are public. Anyone can join. All of our information is actually open source on YouTube. So yeah, we're a very open community, and it's really easy to find a way to connect and learn more information.
Thank you. So Jinx, can you tell us your job?
My title is Developer Advocate. So I work in the Ecosystem Working Group, which is a joint working group between Filecoin and Filecoin Foundation and the Protocol Labs. So there are a lot of working groups within this working group working on different things that drives the network goes further. So we want more capacity, we want more clients using it, and we want more adoption of the IPFS and Filecoin technology. So me specifically as a developer advocate, I look after the builders funnel. And builder funnel can range, the people involved in there can range from just small 1 or 2 developers to development houses or professional companies who wants to use the technology to really big enterprises. Yeah. So for builders funnel, we actually have 3 really good operations running. Yeah. So there's hackathon operation. We go to many Web3 related hackathons, sponsor, give out prizes for developers to innovate. So this year so far we have helped, we have sponsored more than 40 hackathons. Yeah, so quite a few every month. And then when after the hackathon, developers may want to continue working on it, but doesn't have the funding to do that. We have grants operation team to look after them, so they can propose their grants and receive further funding. We often no equity, it's a grant, it's money for them to get to a certain stage. So they propose and we provide the grant money for them to be able to do that. So this year we have given out a lot of grants out. In fact, 370 grants were approved so far this year, and we're going to approve more. And then the last stage for mature projects who would like to receive some serious investment into their project, we have a accelerator operations team. So what they do is they partner with Web3 VCs or investment firms to run programs to onboard the project. So the project will get trained and do pitches to Web3. The recent 3 that we have worked with are Techion, Techstar, the US one, and also Longhash. Yeah, so they've helped 107 teams so far this year. Yeah, so we're really trying to engage with builders, small and big, in the ecosystem.
What is the main focus of the Filecoin Singapore today?
Main focus is to get everyone together, get the community together, and exchange ideas and network. So Juan Bennett, founder of IPFS and Protocol Labs, really believes in the network effect. So by getting people together, we can discuss ideas, and a lot of good things emerge out of this. Yeah.
So what is your role for this event today?
For this event, I work with developers and builders or companies who wish to use IPFS and Filecoin technology. So my role is to serve them and make sure that they look after. And when they have questions, I can answer them on the spot. Or if there is a bigger collaboration that they're proposing, and we would like to do with them, I will provide the ongoing support for them. So I can engage with partnership or collaboration discussions later on as well.
Then the next question, we already met each other in the Filecoin Summit in Korea, right?
It was great.
So So can you tell me how was it?
It was great. It was great production. I really love it. So all of the people's feedback from the foundation and also PL Protocol Labs are great. It was a nice event. It's good to see all of the people involved in the Filecoin ecosystem, whatever they're doing with in the ecosystem, there and see them. So I think one of the things that was really good is we get to talk to them a bit and network with them a bit. Even though English can be a barrier sometimes, but we're getting better. And we really know what we have learned from this is that Asia is a really important market, and Korea, we also need to focus on that. So there will be more events like that in the future.
So first question, what's your job?
So my job at Protocol Labs is to help grow the network. That includes growing our storage provider ecosystem and driving more data to the network. So we are now also very focused on onboarding more data sets. And so we have a team that is focused on storage providers, growing the storage providers, which you're very familiar with.
Yeah, we are.
2, we now have a team as well that's very focused on scaling the data onboarding challenge.
Yes.
And then we have a team that is focused on programs, data programs, to enable more like Slingshot.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, Slingshot, Evergreen, the Falcon.io, and so on. So we have 3 main pillars, 3 main teams that are driving growth, or basically driving the network growth as a whole.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Then the next question: what's the main purpose of today's Filecoin Singapore?
Multiple, right? Multiple things. One, it's to update the ecosystem on all the goodness, all the good stuff that we're working on. But more importantly, it's to connect with the people in our ecosystem, because we barely have time to actually meet one-on-one. And still, a lot of the business that we do, whether it's with our storage providers or our builders, our investors in the ecosystem, it's really like getting to know each other, creating the connections, building the strong relationships, because everyone in the ecosystem has been, unfortunately with COVID, right, has been like, disconnected to a certain level. So for us, this is a way to showcase not only to our own ecosystem, but also to investors.
Oh,
so we now also have what we call Phil.vc event, which is a new series of events that we're driving to update our the traditional Web 2, but also obviously the Web 3 investor community on all the new technologies that we're building, and demonstrate to them how powerful this network really is. Yeah.
So like, how was the K-pop and Filecoin event in Korea?
It was amazing. It was amazing. What is it like? It was really awesome. Yeah, no, I was very impressed with just in general the ecosystem, or the passion that exists in Korea. So it doesn't, like, we all have different backgrounds. We all have different. I'm originally from Belgium, right, and moved to the U.S. And my point is that everywhere where we go, and we felt that very strongly in Korea last month, is that people have the same passion of growing Filecoin and like making this the next gen foundation for Web3, and that was amazing for me, like coming back from Korea. So we're gonna come back, obviously.
Need to
and so and the event was amazing. You did an awesome job in organizing it, and I want to see more K-pop material, videos stored on Filecoin. So please help us with that.
Okay. Last but not least, do you miss Korea?
Yeah, the food was awesome. Like I've eaten so many things that I never heard of.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And so it was incredible. Like, I love kimchi. I love fish in general, like more seafood.
Fish
and so
in general,
So it was amazing. And people are very. It was a very lively city, Seoul. So I was very excited and I want to go back. So I really like it. Yeah, it was good. I mean, for us, I'm so glad that we finally can go on the road again.
Yeah.
Right. So we're doing the Phil Lisbon event. So you'll see a lot more activities in the next year.
Yes.
And so it has made an impact. I mean, I feel like so much of the other thing that I've experienced is that so much of us being successful in the network is going to depend on how well people will collaborate.
Yes.
And so we've noticed that in Korea as well. We need to ensure that the teams and our ecosystem partners are collaborating together to build the network as a whole.
Okay.
And that's not always easy if you haven't met each other in person, right?
Yes.
And so that's one of the main reasons as well of throwing these events, is that people can see what others are doing, and they can kind of discover that passion that I just described.
Yes.
And that kind of like bridges, hopefully, right, the trust that we're looking for. Because in the end, so many, business, so much of the business that we actually perform or execute on is like built on trust, right? And so